Three men in fake tactical vests, badges, crooked egos bigger than their brains, slapped my wife in our front yard. They claimed they were HOA enforcement, but the truth, they were hired muscle ordered to shut us up. The smack echoed through the neighborhood like a gunshot, and in that moment, I knew. They had no idea who they were dealing with. Act 1. The conflict begins. It should have been a normal Tuesday morning in our quiet Florida subdivision. You know, palm trees, swaying lawns cut to military precision, every mailbox painted the exact shade of beige the HOA approved. But nothing about that day turned out normal. My wife, Julia, schoolteacher, gentle but fierce, was out in the yard tending to our tulips when she spotted it, a bright yellow violation notice stuck to our fence like some suburban scarlet letter. Fence 2 inches too high. American flag unauthorized military memorabilia. 72 hours to comply or face escalated enforcement. I stood at the kitchen window, coffee mug in hand, thinking I survived 3 deployments overseas just to come home and deal with petty tyrants measuring fences with rulers. Julia, smarter than me, sometimes pulled out her phone. Always document, she says. 15 years married to a Navy SEAL taught her evidence saves lives. And then came the clowns. 2 men in dollar store tactical vests strutted onto our lawn. One tall barrel chest, let's call him Vince. His vest zipper was about to pop. The other Tony, flexing like a wannabe UFC fighter. Both had patches that read, compliance. Not police, not security, just compliance. "Ma'am, stop recording immediately," Vince barked, fake drill sergeant tone echoing across the cul-de-sac. Julia kept filming. Of course she did. That's when Tony's hand shot out hard slap across her cheek. The sound cracked through the neighborhood, and her phone flew into the grass, still recording. You ever see someone you love get hit in front of you? Time slows down. Blood roars in your ears. Rage turns white hot. That's when I stepped outside. I wasn't wearing body armor, just jeans and an old Marine Corps t-shirt. But my presence, my stance, my voice shifted the whole atmosphere. "I'm a Navy SEAL," I said, calm and level. "You just assaulted my wife. Bad decision." Vince tried charging me. He tripped over his own boots, face planted on the steps, nose exploding blood. Tony swung wide like a drunk in a bar fight. I sidestepped. He tumbled into the sprinkler system, babbling like a toddler. I didn't even have to throw a punch. Gravity did most of the work. While they whimpered, I dialed 911. Responsible adults call for help even when the victims are idiots. That's when I saw Vince's phone glowing in the grass. A text message. "Boss lady, use force if needed. J." Jennifer Allen, our HOA president. The Karen who ruled this neighborhood like a dictator with a rule book. And in that moment I realized this wasn't random harassment. This was war. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. The next morning I was at my kitchen table with coffee, laptop, and notepad full of license plates. Julia's bruised cheek stared back at me like a mission objective. That's when Ray Delgado, retired cop and neighbor, knocked on my door. Hawaiian shirt, cargo shorts, handshake like he's still on duty. Chuck, these idiots left more evidence than a botched bank robbery. Together we dug. Community Compliance Group. Their website looked like it was built on dial-up stock photos of fake tough guys. Yelp reviews were comedy gold. Showed up drunk to noise complaint. Stole my sandwich. These were the professionals Jennifer hired. Julia played her own card. She invited Agnes, our lonely neighbor who'd been Jennifer's spy, over for tea and cookies. And boy did Agnes sing. Jennifer had a notebook, her control system. Pages of every neighbor's debts, violations, vulnerabilities. She tracked people like targets in a military operation. $500 fines for mailbox color. $2 $500 liens for deck permits. Notes like, leverage opportunity, high compliance under financial pressure. And then there was Carl Mitchell, hard-working mechanic, owed $2 $500, fear written all over him. At first, Carl said he supported me, even stood at a community meeting and declared Chuck showed restraint. He's a good man. But I saw the sweat, the shaky hands. Fear does ugly things to a man. Days later in court, Carl broke. He walked right to Jennifer's side of the room, wouldn't look at me or Julia. Swore under oath that I'd threatened him and his kids, that if he didn't back me up, I'd give him the same treatment as the fake cops. My stomach dropped like a brick. But Julia, God bless her instincts, had recorded the entire meeting. We played the tape. Carl's own voice filled the courtroom. Chuck is a good man. I fully support him. You should have seen Carl's face crumble. Judge's eyes narrowed. Witness tampering exposed in real time. Jennifer's empire was cracking. And then came the twist. Ray showed me Agnes's photos of the notebook. Last page, different handwriting. Big aggressive strokes. Phase 2 failed. Escalate pressure. GL backup plan ready. GL Greg Lamb, Jennifer's ex-husband. A Marine, supposedly dead. But not only alive, he lived one neighborhood over. And suddenly everything made sense. That night Greg himself called. Chuck, we need to talk. I've been tracking Jennifer. She's planning something worse. At Denny's over greasy eggs and burnt coffee, Greg slid me recordings. Jennifer's drunk voice slurring through the speaker. I hired those compliance idiots to teach that SEAL's wife a lesson. Military types think they're so tough. A full confession. But worse texts about Phase 3. A plan she didn't need HOA authority to pull off. And the target Julia's school. Public places. Maximum impact. Tell me what kind of HOA president escalates from fences and flags to threatening children. Act 3. The climax and justice. By the time our next community meeting rolled around, the place was packed. Not sleepy suburban homeowners this time, angry citizens ready to take back their neighborhood. We laid it all out like a military briefing. Julia's assault video. Agnes's black book blown up on posters. Ray presenting bank records showing Jennifer funneled HOA dues into her private army. And then the Newt Greg's recording. Jennifer's slurred voice admitting she ordered the assault. The room erupted, people shouting, cursing, demanding action. Mrs. Patterson, HOA vice president, finally stepped up. Per bylaws, I call for a vote of no confidence in President Jennifer Allen. Hands shot up like fireworks, 52 votes to remove her, 1 abstention, and 1 lone no Jennifer's own. But she wasn't done. Oh no. She grabbed the mic, face twisted with rage. You idiots have no idea what you're doing. Without me, property values will crash. Crime will skyrocket. You need me. Security volunteers moved in. She fought them off, eyes wild, voice cracking. Chuck Morgan, you don't know what's coming. Phase 3 is already in motion. School security is weaker than they think. The room froze. Parents clutched each other. People gasped. And then my phone buzzed. A text. Your wife teaches at Sunset Elementary, right? Kids are so vulnerable at 3:15 dismissal. A friend. Audience, pause a second. What would you do if you got that message? Drop it in the comments because I want to know how you'd react. Court followed. Cameras, reporters, the whole circus. Evidence stacked high, the slap video, the black book, the drunk confession, Greg's testimony. Jennifer tried to defend herself, screaming about protecting property values and dangerous veterans. But then came the kill shot. Digital forensics traced the school threat directly to her personal phone. Judge's face hardened. Mrs. Allen, this court finds you guilty of harassment, intimidation, conspiracy, witness tampering, and making terroristic threats. Jennifer broke, screaming, thrashing, accusing Greg of framing her. But it was over. She was finished. The gavel came down. Ban from HOA leadership for life, restitution, mental health evaluation, probation, and just like that, the tyrant of our neighborhood lost everything. Closing line. When power becomes obsession, it always ends the same way. Control slips through their fingers, and truth cuts deeper than fear.